The following video is a discussion of Paul Davies, um, who had an online presentation of what he titled The Ultimate Explanation of the Universe. And I'd like to go through all of this. Um, he started out by saying that a lot of religion today is mostly ceremonial, that he doesn't believe in a God or a transcendence, uh, but even people that do, um, most of it is just ceremonial. Yes, I believe because this is the way I have to believe. But even more important than that is that it doesn't give an explanation to the universe. If we just say, God said this is the way it is, and that's why the laws of the universe are the way they are, that really doesn't give us a complete understanding. So what Paul Davies tries to do is break out of that uh, uh, in the study of reality and existence through the use of science and physics. Um, he would like to get at the foundation of uh, what the meaning of all of this is and where do the laws come from. He has a belief that the universe has a rational order to it, um, laws of gravity and so forth, so that we do live in a rational universe. So that he believes that there must be a deeper meaning to it, and he believes that this meaning can be found within the universe itself. It does not need to look to a transcendent God or Platonic forms or something outside of the universe, which by its very nature says that the human mind could never understand it. He wants to get to the bottom of it from within the universe, a realistic universe, which he believes that we can understand. Um, he talks about the cosmic drama, how we are a part of this tapestry, uh, uh, and that it is coherent to the human mind. Um, he talked about how Isaac Newton, when he saw the apple fall, that was his observation, but he was able to use deduction to create this mechanistic, deterministic view of the world, and he was able to apply those laws then to how the planets move and so forth, so that he'd like to use this type of a method in a quantum mechanical way to the entirety of the universe to uh, get more to the bottom of the laws and the meanings and the purpose, and and move forward. Um, he talked about ingenuity, again, of the universe, that there is this rational order um, to it. The sun rises every day. Motion is consistent, and we can believe on that, as Hume would say, on faith, that the sun is going to rise again the next day. We don't know that for sure, but we do believe that. Um, so he really stresses the fact that um, he believes there must be meaning to the universe because we have a comprehensible mind within it. We give meaning to it. So, why would a universe allow a mind to exist that can assign meaning to the universe, but everything else in the universe be meaningless? So that is his critical point, is that we have this comprehensible mind. We are an observer within the universe, but we are also an active actor in it. So what he wants to do is, out of this appreciation, this privilege to know, um, where do the laws come from? Um, he made the statement, can an absurd foundation have meaning and rationality? if on the one hand we say, well, the overall universe doesn't really have meaning, is meaningless, is random, why would we as human beings with a human mind, a comprehensible mind, um, have meaning in it? So it doesn't make any sense that the foundation would be absurd and meaningless, but within our mind there is meaning. So that's why he wants to dig deeper. He talks a little bit about the possibility of a multiverse. Possibly we had the Big Bang here, but there might be other Big Bangs, and that our laws, um, which govern this universe, might not necessarily be true in other universes, other multiverses, that possibly we have this set of bylaws um, within our universe. Within that context of a multiverse, um, if you have an infinite amount of universes, and then the chance of ours coming into be would be infinite, might be one explanation of why this universe exists. And he talks about the Goldilocks principle, that this universe is just right for humans to exist in. So he wants to get to the foundation of where do the laws come from. Some would say that these laws might just be human constructs, concepts uh, that we've put together by an observation. I think even Einstein held some of that view, where and he had a better picture here. But if here was the Earth, one person facetiously said that then that was held up by an elephant supported by a turtle. Well, then the question was, well, what holds up the turtle? And then we say the turtle's all the way down. How could, where does it ever end? And then the statement is, well, there's just this um, super turtle on the bottom levitating, that the foundation of everything is supported on that. And that is the ultimate end, as if that's like a god on the bottom, which is the ultimate explanation. He wants to break out of this linear way of thinking and more look like a quantum loop, where it might be self creating within itself, more like a computer in a circular fashion. So within it, all of the reasons and ability to create are within the loop itself. So that you get away from the arguments, my God is better than your science and so forth, but that there may be this reason that's building in more of this loop effect here. Um, he talked about Euclid, how in the beginning Euclid had his foundation of geometric shapes, and those were the laws that were given. So then you could apply those to the Pythagorean theorem and so forth. So that was just a given, and they weren't challenged. He wants to break out of that and be more like John Wheeler, with the assumption that there are no laws underlying the nature of all of this, um, or that you would question everything. And then looking back at this quantum loop, um, that the universe can co-emerge and exist with the laws and all the reasons within it already. So he wants to get away from the Platonic forms, that transcendent knowledge that we could never have understanding of or attain that perfection. But he wants to view this more as a cosmic computer. And he thinks this type of change in thinking may lead us into greater heights, more understanding. So again, he says that all the knowledge is already intrinsic within this quantum loop. And here's where it really gets interesting. He believes, again, in realism, that there is a finite amount of information in the world, and this is a critical point. He says it's 10 to the power of 122, and um, so that would mean there's a first point and an end point of the 10 to the 122, that this would be the simple part within it, a finite set that we are existing in. So that is really, really interesting that he would believe that the universe is finite. And this is why he believes that it can be understandable, because it is finite, so that we can get in and understand this. He talks about the holographic principle, that the universe is somewhat of this holograph, more like a quantum computer. And then it takes a twist in his way of thinking. He grants that the universe is finite, 10 to the 122 power of bits of information, but he believes in quantum fuzziness, and that's why the universe is not stagnant. And a big part of that, and he kind of took this from Stephen Hawking, is how could the universe not be stagnant if we have this finite set? And he threw out the idea that the past may be ambiguous. The past is not completely defined or settled, since it is not fully observed. And this is really a creative idea that he's developing here. So that the laws themselves are possibly funny at the foundation of the universe. So he believes within space and time and the laws and the observance, all of this within a finite set would be understandable, with this little major quirk to it, that there may be this quantum fuzziness existing within it, which potentially could give it an infinite nature within this finite set. So that is really some interesting discussions and pursuit that he's going down. He mentioned an extremely important fact in regards to quantum computers, that they believe if there's 400 entangled particles, and that's how you're going to process information with quantum computers, that this computing capacity would exceed the entire finite amount of information and bits in the universe, and that possibly this may be the event where our understanding of the universe, or maybe even the universe itself, may break down, because we've exceeded the allowable amount of information that can exist within the universe. So that is just some really interesting, fascinating, amazing stuff that they are pursuing. And I think this is really a creative idea that Paul Davies came up with. And he says it's an idea for an idea. And I am very curious of, again, how these science and quantum computers are going to go down this road, especially if we approach the ability to exceed the amount of information that's available in our current universe. So is this a breakdown of the universe, and do we break out of the limits that we've talked about so many times? So that is a quick discussion on Paul Davies' pursuits, which I think are just absolutely fascinating, trying to head more to this loop, almost this this quantum loop, where it's completely self-generating and all within itself. So then you always get back to, so is there really a foundation to all of this? Is there an infinite set once you start talking about quantum computers within the finite set, or does that break out in some way? Gödel believed that in his incompleteness theorem we could never completely understand it, that there would always be this mystery. So Paul Davies is seeking an answer, an ultimate answer of why, and questions of the universe within what he and scientists believe is a finite set of information.